And if we're back, also, if we really are going to be watching Scott the Waz, let's be honest here, that's the perfect time to eat.
That's fair. Alright, welcome back. I only plan to do one level today because it is the worst fucking level in the game and it's probably giving me PTSD at this point. Anyway, how's your evening going?
Well, we got the rest of Halloween Town out of the way in order.
Or good.
I didn't fall asleep for once.
For once. Chain of Memories is the worst game ever made.
Again, I can think of worse, but...
Can you?
Yes.
Well...
I watched a lot of angry reviewers growing up as a child. They revealed to me some pretty heinous shit.
I guess that's fair. Well, I don't know. Still one of the worst games I've ever witnessed. 0 out of 10 game now.
I'd say the only game I've ever played that had 0 redeeming factors.
South Park Rally.
Yep. Love Shack, at the very least, had me winning, so that's really only keeping him.
Love Shack can be enjoyable if you're
winning.
If you know what you're getting into, and yeah, if you're winning. Rally is unforgivably terrible.
I couldn't even fucking control Rally, if that tells you anything what the fuck was going on with that game.
That game was only made in, I don't know, 8 months from the research I did.
It felt like less time.
Maybe 6. Maybe it was less time. Like, I did digging. I have 4 copies of that game. Don't ask why. I have the N64 version, the PS1 version, which is even worse, the Sega Dreamcast version, which has an exclusive Carnival level, and a pirated copy of the PC version. I can admit it's pirated because that claim is dead.
I mean, we've been pretty obvious about how much we pirate. Let's be honest here.
I also
it's incriminatory, but at the same time, fuck you. Those games aren't available, and you're never making them available.
Who the hell cares?
And how am I going to give money to scalpers?
Exactly. Unless I just really want to own something physically, I just...
will just...
And it's old game, I just, you know...
Look, if the game is available to me in a fashion that makes it still playable, I'll do that. I'll buy that instead. But if it is not available in any which way, and it involves giving hundreds of dollars to assholes online who want to rip me off, then fuck you. I'm gonna take my save states, and I'm gonna say, fuck yeah, I'm just gonna emulate it.
How dare you emulate this game from 20 years ago? Don't you realize how bad that would impact the developers? They're losing money from that!
They ain't getting money from it in the first place, dumbasses.
Yeah, what is there to lose? You see, if companies did a better job archiving their shit, we wouldn't have this issue. Would we? Gamers.
Well, yeah, unless I have a physical copy, which, to be fair though, I will emulate the games I have copies of, if only just because I don't have a console anymore, or because it's quite literally broken or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, for the most part, most of the games I'm emulating are games that I've already owned in the past, or games that are just completely inaccessible to me.
I recently...
Well, you know, without shilling out hundreds of dollars for a fucking game manual.
I recently tried I played Mario Sunshine through Dolphin, and I decided to just mess around with the mods, Gecko codes or whatnot, whatever they're called. I turned on Low Gravity, and I think that broke the game. I say I think, but it did break the game. Other than that, hey, there was a direct last week, I think.
Yeah.
A couple of days ago by this time. It was at 7 in the morning, because, so fuck Nintendo, I
watched it after the fact, yes.
I watched it live. I didn't sleep that night before. Don't worry, I get better sleep then. Now, I remember what's in the Direct, but I don't remember. What was the first thing they showed?
Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC news.
Oh yeah, that's why I don't remember.
If you want, I could bring out the actual Direct to see what was said, like, in chronological order.
I know some of the big things, but I don't know the chronological order stuff.
Okay, let me just bring it out. While you focus on trying to beat this.
I hate this part.
I can tell why. It just looks like it's terrible to control.
It is. Thanks, Nintendo.
This is rare. Don't blame Nintendo on this.
I know. Thanks, the UK. Rare is based in the UK.
Yeah.
Eat red, avoid yellow. Oh.
Just... Okay. I just mute that so I don't have to... So, first was the Hidden Treasures of Area Zero's DLC, which you don't care about because you don't play Pokemon. Then after that, they showed off a bit more about Sonic Superstars, like the fact that the Chaos Emerald will have unique powers to them.
Apparently.
Which, you know, cool.
That's a bullshit move.
A game called Paleo, which I have no idea about. Oh, by the way, I do like the fact that we're shown that Amy will use her hammer as her special ability thing.
Yeah.
More about Persona 5 Tactica, which...
I've pre-installed.
Yeah.
I've learned it takes place during Persona 5, and I don't know how to feel about that.
Again, it really does feel like they're trying to do everything but acknowledge the post-game.
Strikers acknowledge the post-game.
Yeah, that's the only one that has.
And also, Tactica already has DLC.
A game called Myth Force, which is basically a roguelike where you play like in first person and everything looks like a Saturday morning cartoon from like the 80s and 70s. Honestly, the aesthetic is cool.
I don't care for it.
Kevin complained about this, but the fact that the new Splatfest is strawberry, vanilla, and mint chip.
People were like, "Where's chocolate?" I don't know.
You can just tell one developer really wanted it to be mint and one wanted chocolate, and they had to just compromise by saying chip.
Yeah. I'm on Team Mint Chip, by the way.
Vanilla all the way, baby.
Fuck you.
No.
Okay.
In general, out of the 3 flavors given, vanilla is my actual favorite flavor.
Mm.
So even without the funny haha colors, I was going to be on Team Vanilla.
White ink, white ink, white ink. Anyway.
That's just kind of why.
Anyway.
Detective Pikachu Returns is a thing that finally comes back into existence. Still a shame that it's not Danny DeVito, or at the very least Ryan Reynolds' portrayal.
They're too broke.
Why the fuck did the game continue when we could have gotten a sequel to the movie, which was better?
They are working on a sequel to the movie.
Thank God. I thought I heard it got cancelled.
No, they're still working on it.
Oh, thank God. And the first big one, Super Mario RPG's back as a remake.
See, guys, now Gino's relevant. He can get in Smash.
Not that Smash is relevant.
Don't worry, it'll improve your chances for Smash 6.
But I'll say this, I'm really excited, because it means I get to play it.
I probably won't play it day of, because it comes out the same day as Persona 5 Kanika, and I'm going to have all my attention towards that, because
I'm almost certainly going to be playing it, because honestly I care more about this than Tactica.
Also, Tactica's on Game Pass, so I get it for free. That's why.
I know I could have probably emulated, or, like, got the original SNES version, but,
yeah.
Fuck you, I kind of want the new one.
The box art they have set up for it is funny. It's just everyone in stock poses. I laugh a lot if I see the final box art. I know what was next, and that was Untitled game starring Princess Peach.
Yes. I'm looking forward to it as someone who's owned the original Super Princess Peach.
I watched someone play it, and by that I mean someone brought a DS to some place one time and I watched them play it.
I think I still have a copy of Super Princess Peach. But like, yeah, I'm actually excited for the Peach game, just because Peach is a character I like.
And then we got a remaster of Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon on the 3DS coming to the Switch, which, woo, I love that game. I'll gladly throw my money at that game.
And after that, we got something I'll throw my money at, and it's Batman Arkham Trilogy.
Oh yeah, that game.
Which I'm looking forward to actually being able to play it on the go.
I already have it on Steam, so I'm playing it on there. Can't wait to witness Arkham Knight on PC.
The thing is, the Arkham games are infamously, like, really hard to run on even modern software. So the fact that they had to scale these games down to work on the Switch is, like, something I'm actually happy about.
Huh.
Because it means I can actually run it.
Where the fuck is that honeycomb?
Gloomhaven was next. Kevin actually kind of knows about it since it starts out as a board game. Just Dance 2024 came out. No review, no reactor watched that one because they were like, fuck this.
Copyright.
Game called Silent Hope. Which I don't have an opinion on. Faith Farm was shown.
Farming Simulator 50 billion.
Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 was shown. Game called Manic Mechanics was shown. And information on the new Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope DLC. How was that game, by the way? I didn't even know it came out.
It did came out. Ubisoft thinks it underperformed. And that they'll port it to the Switch too.
Didn't Nintendo say hold off on releasing this game until the Switch too?
I think, well, I don't know.
Dragon Quest Monsters: The Dark Prince was announced, and people are shocked about the fact that Dragon Quest Monsters is a thing, but as someone who, again, loves the DS and grew up on it, I knew Dragon Quest Monsters has been a thing for a long time, and I even knew that it's older than Pokemon. Because yes, there are Monster Collection games older than Pokemon, SMT called motherfuckers.
What else was announced?
Pikmin 4 was shown again.
Yeah.
We got more information on that game, it looks good.
It's in a demo.
And they then fucking shadow dropped Pikmin's 1 and 2.
Which is in a physical copy bundle soon-ish.
Another game I'm going to be shelling out my money for, Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1, which has a ton of things, and I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm definitely buying it because I kind of want it.
A physical copy requires an extra 30 gigabytes to download, and a further 30 for the bonus videos.
I don't care. I'm still getting it.
So am I.
Vampire Survivors was next. What do you feel about that?
I don't remember it.
A lot of people basically call it like the crack of like games right now. Very addicting, apparently. A game called Headbangers Rhythm Royale.
That looks dumb.
Yeah. I don't know how to feel
even by my standards. And you know, I have good standards.
Penny's Big Breakaway, the first 3D game from the same team who made Sonic Mania, so that looks good.
Yeah.
And apparently their transition to 3D was a lot smoother than fucking Sega's.
Sonic had a rough transition to 3D to every single person ever.
So anyone who's fucking had eyes Remember Sonic R?
Yeah.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Core, like the next wave got shown off.
With 3 characters, including Kamek.
And everyone was kind of disappointed about that one.
Why? He hasn't been in a Mario Kart game ever, except the mobile one.
Yeah. I don't know why. It seems that everyone was like happy to see Wiggler and Petey Piranha, but not Kamek. Star Ocean: The Second Stories remake got announced, and apparently Star Ocean's like pretty popular with people. I've never really heard about this one actually, but it seems cool. WarioWare Move It was shown.
Strangest announcement ever. In that direct.
I'll say this: I'm looking forward to it.
So am I.
Like it looks like 1-2 Switch if it was good.
You ready for everybody's 1-2 Switch this week?
They've had some Nintendo Live talk. The reveal of the Zelda and Ganondorf amiibo for Tears of the Kingdom, which looked good. And the last big announcement of the day,
Super Mario Bros. Wonder,
which I'm looking forward to. I'm probably going to buy it. And also, the fact that they're going to allow you to play as both Daisy and Yoshi.
Wow.
They showed off Daisy, but if you noticed,
yeah,
like some people with quick eyes noticed Yoshi's on the player character icon thing when Yoshi was shown on, but you could still ride him, which is hilarious.
Well,
but as everyone's been quick to call it, Super Mario Acid Trip seems really fun.
Yeah, it took a bit for me to get used to the art style, but now I'm.
I didn't even need a minute to get used to it. I was like, oh my god, it's just like that first issue of like Nintendo Power. Have you ever seen that issue?
I have seen that issue.
The face Mario makes is exactly like that face.
But fucking that didn't pop in my head because I didn't remember Nintendo Power.
Again, I've watched a lot of AVGN growing up, kids. But like, I say that like I'm not only 23. But like, another thing, people pointed out that it seems that we're going to be seeing the world of that OVA show up. Do you remember the Mario OVA? With the Prince of the Flower Kingdom?
No.
With the toads with like the heads with like the swirly patterns and stuff like that?
No.
Well, it's a really old OVA, and seemingly we're getting the Flower Kingdom because it's one of the world tiles, and that little transformed plant thing looks like it could become that same prince, and oh yeah, we see a swirly patterned toad in that area.
Huh.
So seemingly this game will at least be partially adapting that OVA. So which world was the one that was giving you
hard time?
Yeah.
It's the one I'll go to after this. It's called Rusty Bucket Bay, and every person who's ever played Banjo-Kazooie can say it sucks. Like, they have some very interesting game design choices.
What, did they pull a Conquerors and make you start playing an FPS?
No. That's the second game. Well, there's a lot of water in that world, it's the bay, but the water's polluted. So, you take damage even if you're not underwater, and your health drains twice as fast. And also there's bottomless pits. A lot.
Well, this just seems unfair.
Well, Rare is the most sadistic company on demand, so at least back in the day.
Most what company?
Sadistic.
Considering the amount of collectibles in DK64, you're onto something there.
You know, maybe Nintendo was onto something when they sold off Rare. I failed.
I thought you already did this one.
Well, I did it as a walrus, but you have to do it as normal form. Alright. I'll try to make it close this time. The reason I had to come back to this is I didn't get those fast shoes until the next world over in the desert.
You just need to make sure you don't, like, miss one.
Yeah. So overall, that direct was pretty good.
Yeah.
I
saw people complaining, but again, you'll always see that with directs. Because people are obsessed with getting their own satisfaction rather than being happy about what we did get.
Yeah. Fuck. I am still sad that we did not get Tomodachi Life, but that's to be expected at this point.
If you expect a Tomodachi Life, I'm gonna tell you this right now. You were never gonna get it.
I don't expect it, I just hope for it every direct. And... Ha!
Why did you circle back?
Paranoia.
All I could say about Tomodachi Life is that there are so many people obsessed with getting Tomodachi Life, presumably because the Japanese version had gay marriages and
it didn't.
And the Western one didn't.
Though the Japanese version did have adult child marriages.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I found this out because people constantly talk about that and about the gay marriages being in the Japanese version. People don't talk about the fact that you're able to marry children.
Yeah, that's funny. Tomodachi Life has a...
Japan.
Tomodachi Life has a weirdly large amount of regional differences. There's like 4 different versions.
Yeah.
American, European, which I emulated through an emulator, don't tell Nintendo. Japanese, and Korean in South Korea.
But yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Considering how Mii's have been slowly but surely becoming less and less relevant, why the fuck do you guys think that Tomodachi Life would even be made a sequel? The best you're gonna hope for is a port.
Miitopia came to Switch.
Yeah, but that was a port.
That is true. They could just... No, I think the real reason is that Nintendo is scared because they saw how far people went with the Miitopia character creator, and they're like, okay, yeah, that would be a mistake.
They'd be right.
Just get this. Character creation tends to go a bit too far. And also, apparently I missed one fucking honeycomb in the very opening world, so now I have to exit out, and I'm not too happy about that. Other than that, I've been, I thought the direct was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see a new 2D Mario without the word new in the title.
Also, what's up with this sharp upswing and people complaining about no Tomodachi Life?
Because people love Tomodachi Life.
That game didn't even do that well, if I remember correctly.
It did. It's like in the top 10 best-selling 3DS games.
Huh.
It was really popular.
Well, I don't remember hearing much about it after, the first 2 months.
Well, it had another upsurge in popularity because, of course.
No, the only other major thing announced at Capcom was Mega Man X Dive Offline. Which means that Capcom is... People are complaining about this, but honestly, I think it's a good idea. Capcom is taking their mobile game that they're shutting down and making a fully offline version. Where you can just get all the things that you can and play the entire mobile game without the microtransactions, if I remember correctly.
Well, that's nice of them.
Or the online portion.
Well, that's also nice of them.
But granted, you're gonna have to grind super fucking hard, so they'll probably keep some of the microtransactions, but it's basically just, yeah, the game is done, here, you can have it. Instead of just saying, the game is done, the game is dead. You know, like most mobile games.
Yeah. Because, you know, when mobile games die, they're more often than not dead.
The only other mobile game that I can think of that did something like this is,
Club Penguin Island.
I was gonna say, fucking... the Kingdom Hearts mobile game, Unchained, like the Unchained Key stuff. And that's because they left the game as Dark Road, which actually is a separate game that's fully offline. And also, you can watch all the cutscenes as a feeder mode.
Interesting.
Heck, they even allowed you to keep the. They even allowed you to. They basically unlocked all the items that make it, that are used for customization, so that you can have your character appear the way you want them to at each cutscene.
Huh.
So that was kind of nice of them.
Kinda.
Sure, you're gonna have to figure out what the fuck's going on in certain orders, but no, it's better than most mobile games, which again just die.
Die a cruel and miserable death, often deserved.
Often because they had a crossover with Persona 5.
It's not. Okay.
It happens way too often.
I know. Heh. Other than that, shit. I've been gaming a lot on Steam. It's very steamy, if I do say so myself. I'll stop. I bought a specific Xbox controller just for the PC. Because previously I used my PS4 controller, and it kept picking it up as a speaker, which got really annoying. Then I used my Switch Pro controller, and that was kind of annoying because,
Switch Pro controller is so small?
No, not that. Like, it registered as an Xbox controller, so like the buttons.
Yeah, that's what happens when I use a PS5 controller.
So like, and you know, Nintendo flips their buttons opposed to Xbox, so I had to go like B to go forward and A to go back, stuff like that. Wasn't fun. But now I bought this Xbox controller for the PC, and it works flawlessly.
You know it works.
Yeah. I mentioned earlier, I was playing Star Wars Force Unleashed 2, the game crashed on me, and I lost a good amount of progress, and that is my excuse to not play that game ever again.
Fair enough.
I wasn't enjoying it. It's not a good game.
Yeah.
It was the first game I was ever disappointed in, which... I was like 11 by then when I played it. Damn. It also makes me realize how old I am. Other than that, I played some Sonic Generations.
What was that?
It's a good Sonic game.
People give it too much shit nowadays. I don't know why.
But why? It's not that bad. Well, it's not bad. It's great. Maybe
I remember when the game first came out, everyone loved it, but in recent years, I've heard nothing but shit about it.
Really?
You know, like for some reason, people fucking hate it right now.
Why?
I have no idea.
Maybe because, oh, the new game is better. Frontiers is so much better. Sonic Forces is a better Generations. I've never heard anyone say that, but if they did, I will shoot them in the face.
I think it might just be a backlash towards the concept of modern Sonic at all.
I guess. Sonic wasn't as good as it was back in the day, so therefore, Sonic Generations is by default bad. There, I summarized it.
Yeah.
Other than that, I finished up XCOM 2 on PC.
Huh.
As in, I finally got to finish it, I won the game, beat the final mission and everything.
Huh.
Good game.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
The custom characters aspect is something I will always find funny, because I make all my friends and family and just see how much of them die. I made one of you, you died. Why is the best weapon in the game a sword? That's my question.
Huh?
The best weapon in XCOM is a fucking sword.
I don't know. It's always my favorite, so.
It's true. But it's like... and then you get like the katana after killing the Chosen. That's like always guaranteed hit after guaranteed hit. You know, but I got to beat the game, clocked in at 96 hours playtime.
Hey, behind you.
I got that cauldron.
Oh.
Something up here, though. Clocked in at 96 hours playtime, which is a lie.
Uh-huh.
What else have I been playing? I gotta look at my Steam recent library. Recent games played. Not library, because I can't talk. I didn't get a lot of sleep. You can't tell. Imagine sleeping.
Nah, couldn't be me.
Dead end. How dare you. I bought the Game of Life on Steam. Because, fuck you, I can. I continue to dig around The Sims 4. Because that game is funny. Oh, yeah, no. I play a little bit of Team Fortress 2.
Huh.
Though I don't care for it. Well, it's fine, but like... I don't know. Alright, fuck this level. Original Final Fantasy VII. Among Us. And I recently thought it was a good idea for some reason. Hey, I could just replay the Danganronpa trilogy on Steam. Because those games are, quote, good. They're dumb. I already played Ultra Despair Girls on Steam, so might as well knock out the rest of the series.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I am not ready for this level. And I also picked up S on Steam as well. I played the Mukuro route, and all I could think was, damn, they did her so dirty.
The fact that they straight up only allowed her to have Junko sprites?
Yeah, they have the Junko sprites. They went out of their way to give swimsuits to like 60 plus different characters.
But they refused to give Mukuro her own sprite.
And even with the Mukuro swimsuit sprite, she's still wearing the goddamn wig.
I really do feel bad for Mukuro in that game.
Yeah.
She gets the short and the stick, just like how she does in most of the franchise.
Sad. We live in a society. Anyway, I'm currently on Danganronpa 1, and I just wrapped up Chapter 3. I might as well spill my thoughts on them. Chapter 1 is kind of goofy. Yeah. Because the game is silly.
I don't think Danganronpa starts getting bad until V3 when they start taking themselves as way more serious than they actually are.
Yeah, that's fair.
Basically, when it starts becoming real fucking pretentious.
I read somewhere that the reason spoilers for
the other place I think Danganronpa started going bad was 3, the anime, when they also started going real fucking pretentious.
I refuse to acknowledge 3's existence.
I have to acknowledge it because I like the design of some of the characters.
Okay, that's fair. Oh shit. Now the water. You can move to air on this. Anyway, I read spoilers for the 2 people who haven't played Danganronpa, by the way.
What are you doing in this channel?
I don't know.
I guess that's fair.
It sold like 5 million copies last time I checked.
I'm pretty sure you played at least one Danganronpa game with just about every member of the group here.
One V3 with Jonathan, S with you, nothing with Kevin.
Forgot about him.
Kevin exists. Average uneven buddies viewer.
Kevin was... I don't know if he was a founding member, but he was here longer than me.
He wasn't founding. He was like, yo, I want to see Jonathan play Dark Souls. And then he just kind of stuck around.
So kind of like how I was like, I kind of want to play games.
Yeah, that's kind of how... It's kind of funny how that's both the reason for both of you.
We just overhear this and like, ah, fuck it, let's go.
Let's play funny games. Fucking... Also, Jonathan is going to Mexico on July 7th for about 3 weeks.
Tell him to watch his kidneys.
Okay. He was like, yo, when's the next time we can do a full 4-player session? I told him, don't get your hopes up. Anyways, spoilers to the 2 people who haven't played Danganronpa before I got sidetracked. I read somewhere that the reason Sayaka and Leon were killed off first was because they were the very first characters ever designed, and they were used as the basis for every other character.
That sounds about right.
So they just got sick of looking at them, and they killed them off out of spite. And if that's true, that is very funny.
You should get the health. Next time, listen to me.
Don't say it. So, Sayaka fucking died. I did max out her bond before, she died. And I was like, wait, is that short? Because you'll need to talk to her, like, 2 times to, like, max it out. And then, bam, fucking Junko, quote-unquote, died. Totally. Fuck me.
I remember trying my hardest to, like, get everything I could from Junko before she died.
So, like, 2 seconds of screen time. Pretty sure all the, like, the Mudro voice files don't combine. They don't even go to a full minute.
That might be accurate, sadly.
Yeah, just like, I saw a YouTube video, it was like, all Mudro just have voice lines, and it was 49 seconds. She deserved better. If there's one character I'd say
gets the short end of the stick of this franchise, it's probably Mukuro.
Yeah.
If only just because her for the longest time, her characterization was only based off of If, which, you know, is a good story about someone who, while not really regretting what they've done, kind of wishes they tried harder to keep, like, from having to do all that shit.
Yeah.
Also, like, giving her characterization that makes her more human than her sister by, like, showing that, yes, she actually did view, like, certain members of this of the class as actual, like, friends to her, and in the case of Makoto, an actual crush.
And then she hooked up with him right before the memory wipe.
The amount of dojins and fanfics that revolve around that is hilarious. And as a teenager, I'm pretty sure I've read a vast majority of them.
I wouldn't be shocked.
Hey, say what you will, but the designs are good.
Anyway, Chapter 1 class trial was a funny.
But, like, continuing on what I was saying, she gets a short end of the stick because even though If cemented her characterization basically as an existence, because before that, she didn't have a character. The only character she had was what little we got from her interactions on like, what you could do on school mode, which, if I'm correctly, only happened on the re-release.
Yeah, that was like,
so the only actual interactions you get with her in the franchise for the longest time before If came out was quite literally just what you could do during the amount of time she was alive.
Priorities.
So, her characterization was very little, and then If. And then
Danganronpa 3 happened.
Danganronpa 3, the malformed anime that ruined, in the eyes of many, most of the story, really.
But it just doesn't make sense. Explain how Mikon was able to murder Ibuki and Hyoko within a span of 2 seconds.
That's true.
I know, I'm talking about the entire Danganronpa plot logic.
Yeah, but like,
because I hear, like, third case of the second game is always,
the worst.
Well, yeah, bad.
It is! It literally is, everyone agrees. Third case is usually the fucking worst. But funnily enough, as an Ace Attorney fan, that's also accurate.
Yeah. As someone who just did Chapter 3 of Trigger Happy Havoc, Danganronpa 1, yeah, that's accurate.
It's sad, because the third case usually also involves the killer being someone that people like.
Yeah.
Or if they don't like, then it's a character that people think is aesthetically cool. Because, like, people liked fucking Mikan. And while people didn't care much for Celeste, they think her design was great.
I like Celeste.
I like Celeste too. But that's because I like goth girls.
Celeste is literally the profile picture for the Uneven Buddies Stephen account on PlayStation.
Yes. And what characterization she does get, it paints an image of someone who is really fucking desperate to escape the life she was born into. But, like, the thing is, in general, it also kind of cements them as, like, those characters that are hard to like in the fandom because, well, not only are they killers, they're the killers in the worst cases in the fucking games.
They say it's hard to like killers, but have you seen how many Junko Sims there are?
Yeah. Like, people will simp over a character like Junko who had her entire characterization ruined 5 ways over, and in general gets way too much fucking screen time.
I always come back, totally.
Not only does she always fucking come back, she steals screen time from her own sister!
Just let Mukuro have screen time, Kellen. Impossible.
Mukuro doesn't even have an actual sprite based on her real looks. Every single sprite you see of her is fan-made.
Yeah.
Because quite literally, the only thing we know about Mukuro from her appearance, if we go exclusively from the sprite and not the art released of it, is that she has freckles, she's smaller than Junko in certain areas, and she has a wide grin that makes her look kind of like a fox.
Huh. And then Danganronpa 3 happened. And now people are saying there's hints of incest in that.
Well, there is, because
I know.
They decided to do so. But Danganronpa 3 basically cemented in the eyes of people who didn't know what If was like, of Mukuro basically being an unforgivable character because she's saying to the depths of that student council. Completely ignoring that a major portion of her characterization revolves around how codependent she is on her sister, and how basically, like, her decision to leave her sister at a young age and during the time of middle school has led to her basically trying to be super fucking, like, agreeable to her sister, basically just kowtowing to her every demand to try and make up for that, with the knowledge that her sister is basically a fucking monster, and that the only reason that she's okay doing all that terrible stuff is because in her eyes she already was a monster for all the crimes she committed as a soldier. Because, you know, war crimes and all that. So, yeah, that's actually one of the reasons why she has a crush on Makoto. The fact that Makoto, just this average boy who, on the outside, has no actual, like, qualities that are spectacular, you know, if you can completely ignore everything we learn about him as the series goes on, is able to smile at her even though he already knows that she's almost certainly done war crimes, and treat her as a friend, led to her having a crush on him. Because he was basically assigning her that there was a way out of this. She just was already way too in.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's kind of one of the tragedies of her character. All of which gets ignored thanks to the fact that 3 characterized her in a fashion that made her really unforgivable to some people who didn't realize that, yes, most of her characterization revolves around how willing she is to just do whatever Junko asks of her. Because, again, that's a personality trait that we only see through If.
Yeah. It's...
Because, oh yeah, just like with Makoto, people tend to forget that the vast majority of Mukuro, and in fact, most of the protagonist's characters, come from inner dialogue that we only ever see through their point of view. Like, Makoto is viewed as a boring-ass character. But do remember that any of the funny dialogue that we get from narration and all that in the original game
is
Makoto's thought process. He is the narrator. He is the one who's thinking all these things. Because almost all of his character revolves around him just keeping that shit to himself because he wants to be a friend with everybody.
Well,
like, you don't see him saying really obnoxious shit like the stuff that he thinks because he's a good person. You know, unlike most of his classmates who, if they would think that, would outright state that shit to each other's face.
Yeah. Alright. Anyway, the killer was Leon. Because, you know, it's an example. Fuck, I can't talk.
The killer was Leon because it was super fucking easy to make him unlikable.
Sayaka planned to kill Leon, but, you know, that gone wrong. YouTube thumbnail, try to murder my classmate, gone wrong. Not clickbait.
At least one version of the story has him be slightly more likable by making by retconning it so that he tried to basically calm her the fuck down, and the struggle of getting the knife away from her killed her.
You know, accidental manslaughter is still manslaughter.
Yeah. He's still trying to hide it, obviously.
And then Leon fucking got pummeled to death by a 1,000 baseballs. I was gonna say a billion as a joke, but I'm pretty sure it was actually 1,000.
So, along with fucking...
And that was chapter 1.
Makoto. I'd say Maizano and Leon also kind of get the short end of the stick with the fandom.
Have you ever heard about that?
Leon, because... Well, he's basically such a non-entity that the only thing people remember about him is the fact that he whines about not liking his talent, and the fact that he has a cousin that's incestuous with him.
Yeah, I finally think about that one.
Yeah, good luck. There's way too much incest in this fandom. Like, straight up, the creators are obsessed with incest.
I know.
Makoto, Leon's cousin.
Correct.
Komaru, if you really think about her Brocon moments.
I don't have a brother complex, I swear.
There's a reason why one of the most common things is incest in this fandom, and it's because the creators are weirdly obsessed with it.
I mean, it's a Japanese game, but...
Yeah.
Anyway.
But, like...
I was gonna ask, have you ever heard of that guy who, like, printed, like, 100 Sayaka cutouts?
No.
Have you really not heard of it?
If I did, I'd clearly repress that shit. But...
I'm pulling it up.
Well, you do that, I'm gonna continue on with what I was saying about Leon.
It's actually located here in California.
Sayaka. Leon gets the short end of the stick because he doesn't get much characterization. And a lot of people don't bother with things like school mode for the original game. But, like, the reason I say that they don't bother with the original game's school mode is because the vast majority of early fans played the original game through the fan translation.
Yeah.
Which, you know...
I know what that is.
Leads to people talking about these characters mostly in last name terms and stuff like that. But also, because the original game didn't have a school mode, a lot of the extra characterization that could only be done by hanging out with these characters was locked behind doing it before they died. And that leads to characters' portrayals being kind of warped in the eyes of the audience. Like I mentioned, Leon gets relegated to the whole he doesn't like his talent, even though as the character as like your friendship with him grows, it's basically him his entire story arc there is him realizing that the only reason he's interested in music was because he wants to pick up chicks, and in reality, he actually still does like his talent. He's just kind of gone over how everyone treats him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like the fact that like he has a bit of an ego, and he realizes that is his main characterization in the first game, which is the only appearance he gets, and he dies shortly thereafter. Maizano, on the other hand, gets a weird stigma.
Okay, I found a video.
Like, do you know how they act about her?
It's trying to load.
Like, specifically,
I'll pull up the video.
If you don't know, Sayaka gets a negative reputation.
Snake.
For, yeah, essentially damn near backstabbing Makoto. Someone who she knew well before everybody else in that school, but at the same time, someone she didn't really trust.
Yeah.
She liked him well enough to, leave hints at who the hell her killer was, but yeah, they didn't know each other. All she knew is that he has a good heart thanks to the whole, goose incident. But that's about it. They're not really close. People write about them like it's so fucking, such a fucking big betrayal. And for Makoto, yes, it was, because he opens up his heart to someone and they betray him. But at the same time, Makoto himself finds it in himself to basically forgive her well before anyone in the fandom, because the vast majority of the fandom never let it go.
That's true.
I
found it.
They will do anything to demonize her, including slut-shaming her for some of the stuff she might have done in her career, in her pursuit of being an idol. Because as some of the Bond stuff reveals, yes, she's done some twisted stuff to become an idol, because the idol industry is really fucked up.
Yeah. I found the video.
Her decision to try and get back to the outside world is fueled because, yes, she's an idol. She has trained basically her whole life ever since she decided to become like this to try and do this. And the only people she can really trust are her friends from that idol group, because let's be honest here, have you ever seen how idols are treated in Japan? Trust me when I say this. The fans are awful. They're just the worst.
I can see that.
So, her not being able to trust anyone at that school, even someone who she's known longer than everybody else, makes perfect sense. She's basically been put into a position where she could easily be assaulted by any one of these people. And she has zero idea who she can trust. Because the life of an idol is the life of basically being stalked, harassed, and being blackmailed into doing shit that you don't want to do. Because every single person, be it the producers, the fans, and even some of your colleagues, will do everything in their power to keep you down.
Well, I found the video.
Yes, it's not brought up often, but if you know the cultural context of what being an idol is, you know there's a reason why she tries to do these things. And her way of basically, asking for forgiveness is basically securing the fact that, yes, Makoto couldn't have done this when she gets murdered. If she didn't care, she wouldn't have bothered.
Well, alright, I got this video.
Restaurants and all of the above. And I may be her most dedicated fan, as it's a deep rabbit hole. As alongside that, I also have an RC car, so she can move around with me if I want. All my
what the fuck?
Alongside all my game covers, which I replace.
Again, she's a very small-time character. I have no idea why you'd be this obsessed with this.
I have over $500 in commissioned artwork, some of us together. I also have medieval chainmail with all the push button pins I've collected of her, which goes together with a sword and shield, which is entirely made out of her. But most importantly, I turned my house into a church for Mizuno, and this is what the outside of my house looks like.
San Diego.
This is California. This is people's perception of California.
I also have multiple billboards outside, also advertising it for people driving by. My house is a legitimate place of worship, though, as when you walk in, you'll see a choir of Sayakas, alongside an 18-foot tall mural. Then if you go upstairs...
Did he just say mural as mural?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Rooms of Sayaka Mizuno, as seen here, and have gone as far as putting pages on the ceiling. Then when you come upstairs, you'll see that the floor is completely covered with pages, and extends all the way to this mini hallway. But the truly special part is this room right here, which is the most decorated part inside of the house. Nothing is covered, and is the pinnacle of the Holy Land. Generally, for the rest of the rooms upstairs, they're all very similar, including my room and the 2 separate bathrooms I have upstairs. If you were wondering how I did this, they were all printed with my 10 photo printers, which are also Sayaka Mizuno. Now, of course, being concerned about robbers is a problem, which is why I also have custom Mizuno boomsticks, which include a revolver, a rifle, an army knife, blessed ammo, which I'll keep for myself, but also have an entire Sayaka Mizuno militia, which I call the Waifu Warriors in order to guard my house, and also the giant monuments that I've built, which include a 25-foot tall cutout of her, 10 20-foot tall cutouts of her, 2 30-foot tall cutouts of her, and 1 cutout the size of half a tennis court. I love my waifu Sayaka Mizuno.
What the fuck? Dude, I was defending her because, yeah, she gets a bad rep, but she's nowhere near this important enough to deserve this much attention. Her main like thing is that she basically teaches to Makoto that he can't give his full trust to anybody in this school. The person he thought he could have trusted the most, which is the only person he knows from middle school, ends up betraying him. So he knows, yeah, I should be able to befriend these people, but I should never turn my back on any of them.
You know what's the funny part? He did an interview recently, and he was like, yeah, I never actually played Danganronpa. I just watched the anime.
What the fuck?
I'm pretty sure he's played the other games, but... yeah. He also did this.
Okay, that's funny.
And more recently... not that. But... copyright. This is a really deep rabbit hole.
Okay. Why though? Like, I can understand this if it was like Chiaki or something, but Sayaka, really? Like, there are diehard Chiaki fans, but I've literally never heard of a diehard Sayaka fan.
Well, now you have.
Okay.
And now we did this.
That's a lot more understandable. But, like, all I can say about that guy is, he's the reason why Sayaka is unable to trust anyone, let's be honest here. Yeah.
And then this happened.
But no, seriously, this type of fan is legitimately why idols are incapable of trusting regular people.
And he also has 48 cutouts of MatPat.
It should be what is he doing?
And
it should be that same image of MatPat that's always used in every single fucking Fierce video.
And he also brought a side effect cosplayer to his house.
I can see why she's facepalming.
It was intentional. Come on.
Fucking
Come on.
Load.
Come on.
Load.
Stop having the worst Wi-Fi in California challenge. Come on. Come on.
So.
There we go.
I feel like I should say this, but I'm gonna tell you this right now. As nice as the characters in these games are, the only one who I can actually back up as being a genuinely good person are probably like Makoto Chihiro. I don't think. Oh wait, and Daoi. Maybe Sakura, but like, yeah, that's more on the borderline. For the first game, everyone else is in some level kind of a terrible person.
And I also very recently made another weird discovery as part of this rabbit hole. The guy's dad was the original writer for the musical Grease, and that's how. And he gets the money from that, and that's how he's able to afford making all these cutouts.
Okay.
I'm not joking.
Yeah, I believe you. Why though? Anyways, so to get back onto the talk, Sayaka, as I mentioned, gets way too bad of a rap, and really doesn't deserve some of the more slut-shamey parts of her reputation. Because yeah, there are people who basically call her that. Which is really fucked if you think about it.
Yeah.
Like, you don't victim shame someone for, well, I mentioned being a victim. If she did anything like that to further her career as an idol, it's because producers and like real blackmail, like idols to do that kind of stuff because it's their ass or their career. You see what I did there?
Yeah. So that.
And even then, we don't exactly know what she's done. For the insinuation was mostly that she's like essentially bullied her competitors out of the way and shit like that, and insinuating that she might have done that. But most of these games try to keep like the characters as virgin as possible because fuckers are weird about that in Japan and the West.
Yeah.
There is an actual complex like that. Like there are some people who unironically can only see people as either virgins or whores. They're stupid and are really fucking weird.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, like either they're a complete virgin or they're a fucking whore, which is really, really messed up if you actually think about it. But yeah, that's a complex that actually exists, and a lot of Japanese anime fans have it.
Fun.
Very messed up. But like, outside of that, all I could say about that first case is
stupid.
Juko is a fucking idiot.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that was established.
Yeah, no, like, people treat her like this huge mastermind, but all I could think is, why the fuck did you kill your own sister?
I got bored.
Like, that's literally her motivation for killing off Mukoto. Even though one of the things she wanted was someone who she can trust to cause and stir up trouble and actually, like, keep the killing game going. The one person she should have been able to trust to do that, and she kills her off. So she's then forced to deal with blackmailing Sakura and stuff like that. But Sakura never bothers even doing that stuff, if you notice.
Yeah.
She's like, she gets blackmailed, and then she literally does not do a single bit of what Juko's actually asking her to do. She gets asked to kill someone, she doesn't. She kills herself. She gets asked to stir up trouble, she doesn't. Like the worst thing she does is basically giving Junko alter ego, and even then, that's after they've already like pulled off the plan with what they were gonna do with alter ego.
Yeah. All right, chapter 2. It's a chapter.
Chapter 2.
Chihiro dies. I cried. No, I didn't. Well,
Chihiro.
I like Chihiro, so I was.
I like Chihiro.
Best boy.
But my God.
Spoiler alert: Chihiro's a boy. For the one person that doesn't know.
And for the 50 million people who will argue about this shit to the end of time.
Here we go.
Chihiro, I feel. Oh boy, I feel really bad for him.
Yes, I do feel bad for him.
This is basically the Naruto thing, but like 5 times worse.
Yeah, and
because Persona 4 was big, but it was never huge on things like Tumblr. Presumably because it came out before that stuff became like readily huge, right?
Yeah.
But Danganronpa came out at peak Tumblr.
God damn, I cannot open this stupid water
bottle. So, because people are obsessed with coding things into their headcanons and stuff like that, even though the straight up explanation is given and told as the exact opposite of what they want. Chihiro Naoto.
Yeah.
There is a subset of the internet that will fight you tooth and nail if you call Chihiro a boy.
Chihiro's a boy.
Chihiro, canonically...
Come fight me.
...is not only born a male, he views himself as a male. He is a cisgendered man who was forced to cross-dress to avoid bullying. And every single piece of media that involves him, like, being alive, has to basically deal with the fact that at one point he's gonna have to come out to his friends as a boy, because for like one of the few times in history, the coming out thing here is coming out as not LGBT.
But as hey guys, I'm sorry I had to break it to you, but I'm a cisgendered heterosexual.
Now the heterosexual thing is slightly more up into the air because
That's a joke.
Because there is enough jokes on there, but that's because this entire chapter kind of gets lumped into one category I can think of as
stupid
gay jokes.
Oh.
And I say that in the weirdest way possible because it's not making fun of them for being gay, except when it is. But it's the fact that it leads to this weird thing where Mondo and Kiyotaka, their only fucking characterization in this fucking franchise is the fact that they're probably gay.
I mean, Mondo is a walking JoJo's reference, and everyone knows that JoJo's makes you gay. So
you say that, but I'm gonna tell you the funniest thing in the world right now. The gayest fandom in the world, right? JoJo, right?
Yeah.
When they came back from the blackout, you know, the Reddit blackout?
Yeah.
They, in protest, Shitpost Crusaders started allowing porn to be shown.
Ooh.
Yeah, right? Yeah. The gayest fandom in the world, and the vast majority of the porn, was Jolene and Foo Fighters. Women. Yes, the supposed gayest fandom in the world, and when they were given carte blanche to post porn, they decided to go for the straightest options possible. So,
I can't say I'm too shocked, but like...
Yes, the joke is that the JoJo fandom is the gayest fandom in the world, when in reality the vast majority of them are straight men. And lesbian women.
There are two kinds of people.
In reality, a good chunk of them are actually bi, but a lot of them are actually, like, female-leaning. Like, you could tell that the ones that, like, were arguing against it are the people who actually would be, like, falling under the gay term there.
Yeah.
Like, the people who... Like, the protesters to the whole Jolene Foo Fighters thing posted actual gay porn, but even then, it was so minuscule in comparison, and it was also hilariously labeled under, because no one's done it before, I'll do it now, and shit like that. Showing that the only reason they even posted it was because they were like, we have a reputation for being gay, why the fuck are we not posting gay porn?
Irony?
Yeah, no, it's like, this is a legitimately case of irony here where, like, they have a reputation, they want to uphold it, but the vast majority of the fan base actually doesn't fall under the category of what the reputation, like, puts them under. And the reasoning is quite simple. You wanna know why?
Why?
People forget that for as easy as it is to make gay jokes about JoJo because of all the men and the posing and all that, the reason JoJo is popular is it's a shonen manga. You know what that means?
Why?
Its main demographic isn't people looking for romance. It's looking for action. Like, it's quite literally just boys looking for guys to look up to.
I see.
Because it originally started as a Shonen Jump comic.
Yeah.
You know, Shonen Jump, the magazine for young boys to read.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason they were all like these like really buff guys is because in general it was to basically have like a figure that they can look up to. I was like, oh, this is what I'm meant to look like and shit like that.
Yeah.
And as the series went on, they cut out on that shit because, well, Rocky didn't want to like have to just keep drawing these muscular guys. he also wanted to draw people who were able to wear actual fashion and stuff like that. Because he has a passion for fashion.
Yeah.
I think the funniest part is that whole, like, you know how I joked around here saying, like, the gayest fandom in the world, unironically, is mostly full of straight people?
Yeah.
That's actually accurate to the canon itself. Because the vast majority of the JoJo characters are straight. We see most of the protagonists either get with women or perv on women. Or in the case of that one guy who did perv on women, get with multiple women. In fact, that JoJo is probably the most likely to be bi, right?
Yeah.
And the only person we see that he has a chance of being gay with dies. Because it's Joseph Joestar, the second JoJo. Most of the other JoJos are either, straight. We see them get married to women. Or in the case of Jotaro, we know he gets married to a woman and he has a daughter, but in reality, everyone could easily see him as just being asexual who decided to have a kid. They're pretty much divorced, if I remember correctly.
Pretty much.
Like, they are actually divorced, if I remember correctly. So we don't actually know how that worked out, but, like, he's definitely had sex with a woman. So I guess he can do it. But there's a reason why the vast majority of the fandom jokes around that in reality he's more into dolphins than women.
Dolphin? Okay.
He's a marine biologist. He has a dolphin pin. And, one of the most common character traits of Jotaro, especially as a teenager, was his willingness to call women fucking bitches and stuff like that. Because he was a punk. Him acting misogynistic was basically a way for him to, like, chase people out of his life. He called his mom that too, but, like, he clearly cared enough about her to rescue her life.
At least I had an extra health.
Basically, most people know his characterization from when he was a teenager, where he was really pissed off at the world.
Yeah.
So people think that one of his main character traits is misogyny. When we don't really see him act too misogynistic after he gets older, with the only, like, meaningful interaction with women after the fact is the fact that he has a daughter and an ex-wife.
Yeah.
I think that, in fact, the only JoJo that I would say honestly has a chance of being legitimately gay is Giorno Giovanna, the 5th JoJo. And that's because that guy, well, there was this one scene that looks very suggestive with a character named Mr. Guido.
Yeah.
And yeah, it almost looks like he's giving head.
Are you guys ready for these bottomless pits? This is where they are.
This was the Italian JoJo, to be fair.
Yeah.
So that kind of affectionate, like, ability to interact with people is just kind of a thing in their culture. It's weird. In reality, like, yeah, he doesn't really have a love interest. Unlike most JoJos, we don't see him ever showing interest with anyone. Honestly, the biggest argument for him being gay is that his dad was bi. Because his dad's Dio. And Dio has both men and women as lovers. Josuke doesn't ever show interest in anyone, but we never really see him have to interact with anyone. Like, outside of, like, he's mostly into for friendship and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So people can write him as gay, but, well, shit, man, I don't know. You never really seemed that interested in romance in the first place. As I mentioned, Joseph, the original, was married to a woman, died married to a woman. I say that because he died first. I'm not Joseph. I meant Jonathan. Jonathan basically died on his honeymoon. Joseph not only got married to a woman, he then had an affair with another woman as an elderly man. Yes, that guy was pulling game in his 60s or 70s.
Anyways,
and we see that woman that he got with, Tomoko, Josuke's mom.
Yeah,
she's hot. Even at her age, at the point where she shows up. So he basically got lucky with a college-aged woman as a damn near elderly man, and she's still in love with him. Say what you will about it, but he apparently has a lot of game.
All right, time for the worst part.
Like I mentioned, Jotaro had a wife, but let's be honest here. That guy was up on the air on that guy.
Yeah.
We went over Josuke and Giorno. Jolene was in a relationship with a man before she died, and before she got sent to prison. People want to ship her with her fellow, her main female friend. But canonically, she is with Anasui, who was a guy. Granted, he's a guy who can change genders, and for their very first appearance, was drawn like a woman. Yes, that's actually a thing. I say that because he was drawn like a woman, then he wasn't. Next panel, literally the next panel over, because I think he was originally meant to be a woman. And then Araki's like, nah, turns him into a male, and it's never acknowledged.
At least I got the thing.
When I say it never acknowledged, I mean they retconned it so that he never showed up like that in the anime.
I also can't believe I did that whole session without falling on the pit, because when I first did that, I struggled. But
the reason we know he can shape genders is because his main ability is basically able to reconstruct things in other ways, including his own body. So canonically, he actually does have the ability to change genders. It's funny. I say funny because he never uses it canonically. It got retconned.
Anyway.
And in reality, the actual gay, JoJo's don't start showing up until the universe resets in Part 7. And even then, Part 8, Josuke, who looks like he should be the gayest JoJo, is probably one of the straightest. Have you ever seen him? The guy's literally in a sailor suit.
I haven't. I might recognize if you show me a picture, but I do not know JoJo.
But, the newest one is probably, from what I've heard, the gayest one, so that's cool.
It's something.
Granted, his name is Jodio, so... What?
What? Anyway. Fucking... yeah, so Chapter 2 of Danganronpa was a dumb. I saw... and then it turns out, fucking,
Look. This is how honestly normally looks like, right?
Yeah.
This was his first appearance. You could definitely tell by curvature. Then it got retconned.
I think I nailed that.
According to a panel in 2019, Araki said he changed the design to go beyond the normal standards of beauty. So, yeah, Araki originally introduced him as a girl, everyone knows this, and then he's like, I'm gonna retcon that shit. And ever since then, he only ever shows up in his new appearance.
Yeah.
Which, hilarious, if you think about it. Because, if Anasui was always meant to be Jolene's love interest, that for a moment there, she was definitely going to be a lesbian. Well, she was going to be bi. She already had a boyfriend. But, people only think ones and twos.
Okay.
And then Araki's like, never mind. So even Araki is over the course of getting getting the reputation for gay stuff, but then immediately backing out and being straight. Yeah, that was basically the funniest discourse I saw about the JoJo fandom in recent time. It was legitimately funny to see just how many of them are like, why are we only posting Jolene and Foo Fighters? Granted, it actually kind of makes sense if you remember that Jolene is canonically, one of the first things we see about her is her having been strip searched since she went off to a prison.
Yeah.
And then, they ended up cutting this out of the anime, but it's implied she was masturbating.
Mm-hmm.
So she's one of the horniest JoJos. Both in design and by actual willingness to get with people.
Yeah.
She has 2 boyfriends over the course of her appearance and masturbates on screen.
Anyways.
Yeah, back to
Danganronpa.
Basically, what I was saying about Mondo and Kiyotaka before I got distracted by JoJo. Their only characterization nowadays, outside of being tough, manly men, is the fact that they're probably in a relationship. If we just go by the characterizations shown in that chapter. Meanwhile, Chihiro gets the other end of the stick, where people refuse to acknowledge his identity as a man because they'd rather have him be a woman.
Because everything needs LGBT representation in my day and age, says at least one person out there.
Tumblr. It's Tumblr.
Tumblr users. Can't wait for the call-out post, the Everybody's call-out post on Tumblr.
I'm sorry, but, look at the fucking text. He wanted to... His literal strength moment that gets him killed is the fact that Mondo thinks he's so strong for willingly coming out as a guy to the rest of the fucking class. That was his big fuck you to the mastermind. He was gonna say, no, you're not gonna hold my gender against me. I am a guy.
Anyways, and then the actual murder. It should have been all fun and dandy, but then someone decided to go in and mess with it just to expose someone else. And now every time I look at that, I can't help but think of Amori, where Basil helped cover up Mari's death, because you had to point that out to me that one time.
The fact that Basil was the one that fought up with the idea because Sunny was way too traumatized to actually think straight?
No, the fact that Basil altered the death perception of one person.
Oh, you're talking about the fact that it went from an accident that could have easily been avoided to someone to a loved one committing suicide for no reason?
Yeah, except in this case, Tagami framed it on Genocide Jack.
Because they wanted to out them.
And then he decided to be the asshole he is and out Toko for having the split personality. They didn't even get the initial disorder right when I played the Hangman minigame. They said schizophrenia or something. They were like, oh yeah, they have the dissociative identity disorder. And then
no, you're talking about when they call her a schizo.
Yeah.
Do remind you people that games from other times are capable of saying stuff that sounds very insensitive.
Yeah, this was well, the translation was 2014, but the game came out in 2010.
Different time.
But yeah, no.
Even 2014 is technically a different time. We were able to say a lot worse shit.
I was 12 at the time, and I had no idea what a PS Vita was actually now. I knew what it was, and I thought it looked stupid.
I was 14 at the time, and I could easily tell you I was of the opinion that the Vita was the stupidest thing possible, because there's no way you can beat the DS.
And
I was very much in that much of a diehard.
And also my opinion.
My brother did have a PSP, so I can tell you, PSP just wasn't as like user intuitive as a DS.
Yeah. There's a reason I have not touched my Vita ever since I beat Persona 4 Golden for the first time. Apart from to play some PS1 Monsters Inc. game on it. Because I'm just not a fan of this. Then again, I was a Wii U kid at around the same time, so my opinions matter. Man, it was hard being a Wii U kid. Also, I never heard of Danganronpa itself until like 2016 at the earliest. When like I saw a picture of Monokuma and I was like, that thing looks like something. And then it wasn't until 2018 I made the worst mistake of my life.
Playing it?
Playing it. I was 17 at the time.
It was,
Anyways, yeah, Tajami decided, Byakuya Tajami
being an asshole.
decided to cement his reputation of being an asshole, yes.
Granted, he deserves that reputation because he's a fucking asshole.
Yeah, fuck that guy. All my homies hate Byakuya Tajami.
Except for your sister.
For some reason.
Toko-ken.
Toko-kin. I remember she thought Byakuya and Toko was a perfectly healthy relationship. And I'm like, what are you...
No!
And I'm like, do you think the Joker and Harley Quinn is a perfectly healthy relationship? And she's like, okay, now you might be onto something.
What? Wait, I think you've actually told me that.
I have told you this. For a time, that was a thing.
Why?
I talked her out of it.
Thank you.
Don't worry. Yeah, I've told that story before.
All I could think is...
She was like, I asked her, why do you think that? And she was like, oh, well, I was going through some times.
So she admits now that Toko and Byakuya are very much an abusive relationship?
Yeah. If Toko deserves to be with anyone, it's Kamaru, in my opinion. Because that's literally everyone's opinion. Like, Kamaru is basically like the one healthy relationship Toko has. Yeah.
So if it becomes romantic, oh well.
Kamaru's like the only one who can like tolerate genocide jack for more than 2 seconds. Seriously, I had to like fucking mute my computer when
Genocide Jack is very annoying.
Yeah, not during like the class trials, but whenever like one of her randomly generated sound bites plays. So I just mute my PC until she's off the screen. Akin to what we did when we played Danganronpa as, and we just muted the game until whenever she popped up. Because she kind of deserves that muting. And then they flip-flop between calling her Genocide Jack and Genocide Jill. Just sure. And then bam, Mondo killed Chihiro. He gets turned into butter, and then Taka becomes quiet guy.
Very, very sad.
Chapter 3 is the funniest chapter in the series, because they have their motive of being $10 million.
But in reality, for the vast majority of the players here, the actual motive was the AI.
You know, and then, you know, Hifumi decided it would be funny to fuck a computer.
Wanting to make Alter Ego their waifu.
Which, have you seen that movie, Her, from 2013?
No, actually, I haven't.
Oh, well, it's already that.
Meanwhile, Taka thinks that
whatever that
Mondo's soul is stuck in there somehow. I have no idea.
Danganronpa logic is another beast, but
granted, the Ultimates are stupid.
At least it makes more sense than Kingdom Hearts logic or lore.
No, I'm actually capable of understanding what the fuck's going on in Kingdom Hearts. Half the time, I have no idea what's going on in their heads.
I'm talking about from a newcomer's perspective.
Newcomers don't matter. Their perspective isn't even built yet. Until they've actually gone through the entire story so far, then they can actually get an actual perspective. Until then, they have an opinion, and even then, that's meh.
Anyway, Chapter 3, yeah, Taco was like, yo, I am Kiyondo, or something. And I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? And then it was during this, I was so bored of this chapter that I just went on my phone and I looked on Hulu, and I remember that Hulu is marketing to Disney Plus this year, and I remember that the Danganronpa anime is on Hulu, so that means there's a very real possibility that Danganronpa anime could hit Disney Plus sometime this year, and that horrifies me.
As it should.
But at the same time, it would be really funny. So, and then all of a sudden, bam, Hifumi's dead, but it turned out he wasn't dead. And then bam, Topta's dead, and it turns out he is dead. And then bam, the body's disappeared, and then bam, Hifumi's dead. But like, actually, and then he comes back to life thanks to the power of crying. And then he dies again. Because...
So about the perception of these characters...
Hifumi is... I maxed out his Bond because...
The perception on Hifumi is... He's well-meaning, but he's kind of a simp.
Kind of. Very
much so, actually. Like, people acknowledge that he's not a bad person, he's just easily manipulated.
As all simps are.
Like, it just so happens that he simps for two things. A computer that will never love him, and a girl that will never love him.
So, really, no one's gonna love him.
The only other thing I've noticed, the fact that everyone agrees, is design's not good.
Yeah.
But that's because everyone kind of agrees that most of the weird designs just don't work.
Teru, Ryoma.
Like, if you're a weird design character in a franchise where everybody else is designed conventionally attractive, you're just gonna stand out, and not in a good way.
Yeah.
Like,
people also point out, wow, I hate Teru because he's a pervert, and people are also like, wow, I love Miyu-Iruma even though she's a pervert.
I'd say double standards, but let's be honest here. Which one's more likely to date rape you?
Both. Pretty sure Miyu literally does that in the Love Hotel event, so...
If she does, then I don't remember, but
she
then
does.
you might have a good point.
Jonathan and I encountered that.
But I was gonna say, those aren't exactly canon, but you wanna know what is canon?
What? Oh, drugging? I know Teru like drugged everyone in the Danganronpa 3 anime, and he also...
No, that's technically Saionji, but yes. But like, not only does he have that stuff so he could do it, but Miyu doesn't have the amount of opportunities that he does.
Mm-hmm.
He makes all the food for his class. All of the food.
Yeah.
Why do you think Saionji's prank of dumping the aphrodisiacs worked? Because everyone trusts them with their food, which you demonstrably should not trust a pervert with your food.
Clearly.
Miyu doesn't get these opportunities because she's a mechanic. She's an engineer. She doesn't have anything that can actually like do that to you.
Sex robots.
Yeah, sex robots don't count. They're not actually a real thing that can happen. One is cartoony, the other is very realistic.
Yeah.
Which is why people are willing to like, give Miyu a pass, because not only is she a hot woman, but all of her perversions revolve around either like basically talking herself up, or in the case of like the stuff that she can do, it's so cartoony it wouldn't work in real life.
I remember my sister was like digging around for that unused sprite where she's holding a literal dildo at dinner one time, and she showed it to my dad at dinner.
Why though? Why would you do this?
I don't know.
Lily, what are you doing?
I don't know. I forget when this was, but it happened. And it was funny. And I'm like, Lily, don't show it to him. And she did. At the dinner table.
But anyways, getting back to Hifumi, he's actually also a pervert, but like he's more likely to not do anything. If you notice,
Yeah.
like outside of Celeste and Alter Ego, most of his perversions actually go to like fictional characters, because outside of those two, he actually is kind of very into the whole like 2D for life thing.
Taka.
Like, we never see him go out of his way to perv on any of the characters other than the ones I just listed.
Yeah. Taka.
He makes some insinuations, but let's be honest here. What teenage boy out there doesn't make sex jokes?
I don't know.
Fuck, most adult men still make sex jokes. But like,
what's the name?
Like I mentioned, Kiyotaka kind of gets the rap of only being characterized up by his relationship with Mondo.
Yeah.
And considering how no fun he is, it's understandable why people forget what he does, like his whole motivation. But honestly, I can understand why. Like, yeah, it's sympathetic, but let's be honest here, he's not much of a character outside of what's going on in the main story.
That's true.
Which, ironically enough, tells you that his gimmick, like, wouldn't last long as an actual main character. Which tells you he probably should have been one of the first ones to die.
But then he died later.
Yeah. Because, yeah, there are some characters whose entire gimmicks just don't work as long as you'd think they would. A rules lawyery, like, characters all well and good, but this setting, like, you're meant to just kind of ignore that kind of thing. Because in general, the rules have been thrown out because, you know, you're literally in a game of life or death.
Yeah.
So what point is there to, like, keep the guy who antagonizes everyone by constantly, like, talking about, like, what's like good in a school and what's bad in a school environment? Because let's be honest here, in a realistic scenario, he would have gotten on enough people's nerves that he would have been legitimately one of the first people to die.
Mm.
If you can't control yourself and you annoy people, and you're stuck in a life or death situation where one of the options is, hey, you kill someone, you go scot-free, you're probably going to be one of the first targets. Which, ironically enough, is legitimately Celeste's reason for killing off.
Yeah.
That's literally why. Because as I mentioned, act like this and you will not survive in this situation. Celeste, as much as I like her, I'm gonna be upfront here. She's actually legitimately the most likely, in my opinion, to fall for the most regular person here. Like, she's legitimately the most regular character, as in, she's not really that outrageous in any way. Her motivation is she likes dressing up this way, and she wants to be rich.
Rich bitches.
In reality, Makoto gets the bad rap of being the most boring Danganronpa 1 character. I'm gonna be honest here, go over motivations alone, Celeste might actually be the most boring.
I want money.
She is a teenage girl who wants money and vampire butlers. I'm sorry, but how many teenage girls that does not describe that in the 2000s? Specifically, the late 2000s, early 2010s. Because that's a vast majority of them.
Thanks to Twilight.
Not just that. For anime fans, things like Vampire Knight existed too, which is basically anime Twilight. So yeah, no, that's a trope that had been around for a bit. Her entire shtick could basically be summed up to regular girl who's into gothic aesthetic.
Yeah.
They even kind of play with it by revealing her to basically be the most the least interesting person canonically. Like, Taiko Yasuhiro is no one, remember?
I do.
That's actually kind of canonically one of her things. And people forget that canonically, yes, like, Celeste isn't much more outrageous than she normally is. Because everyone always just looks at her appearance.
Yeah.
Her only other major trait is the fact that she occasionally comes up with lies. Because, Queen of Liesting. But more often than not, her lies don't make sense, and she's obviously just bullshitting. I wouldn't be surprised if her actual Queen of Liesting comes from her ability to keep a poker face in the middle of a gambling game, rather than any actual lies. Because most of her lies are so fucking blatant that it's obvious to tell that she's lying.
Yeah.
Or hell, maybe the Queen of Lies epithet comes from the fact that she lies a ton, and to everyone else it's obvious that she's lying. So like, oh yeah, it's that teenage girl that is always fucking lying to everybody. I don't know why.
I do not like those kinds of the people that just spread lies, man. Like, I don't know what I'm.
Granted, she's never lying about anybody else. She's always lying about herself and stuff like that.
Yeah. Never trust anyone who lies about other people. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but like. This is unironically, like, as much as I like her, my call out to the fact that, yes, Makoto gets the bad rap of being the most boring character in Danganronpa 1. But in reality, that's only because design-wise, he's meant to look the most normal. If we go by actual, thoughts and stuff like that, we go by the narration, Makoto's a hell of a lot more interesting than Celeste. And that's because Celeste is quite literally the most average person there. She doesn't have the immense optimism of Makoto. She doesn't have any of the unique character traits that any of the other characters have. Her entire motivation is based off of the laziest fucking thing that Junko could have even come up with. Literally, it was the laziest motivation that Junko had.
Yeah.
Every other motivation made more sense. Blackmailing based on family members. Blackmail on the fact that you have their deepest, darkest secrets. Just the general thought that any single one of your friends here could be betraying you at any given time and giving information to the mastermind. And oh yeah, we then reveal who it is. Or the fact that in general there was a secret 16 student that nobody knew, and now they're dead.
Wow.
And what's in between all that stuff in the worst case of the entire fucking game? $10 million.
10. Kill someone.
You could see what I just said. That was literally the laziest motive that she gave, right?
Yeah.
It literally is the laziest. There's nothing more. Most of literally, canonically, everyone but Celeste said, that shit just ain't worth it.
Yeah.
Celeste is the only one who was dumb enough to fall for it.
That says a lot.
Well, yeah, because what's one of the most main motivating factors for regular people? Money.
Money.
She can't get out of her own head and realize that money just ain't worth it in this scenario. Everyone else fought it. Heck, some people had more money than that. Byakuya.
Byakuya. Even though he does not deserve all that filthy, stupid money.
I mean, he kind of deserves it. Out of his siblings, he was easily the best.
Mm.
By that I mean, best in actually being able to run a corporation.
I guess.
The others are either not suited for that. In the case of that half sibling that was kept as as a secretary and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or were just plain off worse as people, or as employees.
Yeah.
Like the ones he did defeat and got rid of. In general, Tagami's main motivation actually is more understandable because, yeah, his main motivation is basically to get back into the real world, but also to say fuck you to the mastermind because he hates the fact that he's stuck in this situation in the first place.
Yeah.
There's a reason why he refuses to play along with the game after the 4th chapter, and it's because he's actually sick and done with this.
That makes sense. I'm trying to find these last 2 fucking notes. Because
honestly, Byakuya improves as a character significantly the further we get away from the beginning of the game. Like, in 3, he's actually unironically one of the better characters just purely because he's no longer acting like a total ass at all times.
Yeah.
As shown by his willingness to be around Kamaru and Toko without being a complete asshole to everybody.
That is true.
But unfortunately, most of that characterization happens after canon. You know,
That's also true. Post
first game. And the only hint we get at the fact that he's acting better is in 2. But even then, he only shows up in the final chapter, and he's still kind of like residually acting a bit like his original self.
Yeah.
Canonically, we know he gets better, but yeah, no, for the vast majority of the screen time, he acts like a total ass. But yeah, like, Makoto gets a bad rep for something that he demonstrably is not, because he's not the most boring character in his past. That's unironically Celeste. And her only main interesting thing about her is the fact that she gambles, which, you know, is quite literally, essentially just like Makoto's luck skill, which, if that tells you anything about how accurate I was about the whole, she's basically just Makoto but girl with better fashion sense.
Yeah.
And less optimism. For the whole, oh, woe is me, I'm the most boring regular person here.
Huh. Well,
Makoto at least proves himself to be more than that, but Celeste just doesn't. She falls for the biggest trap of the literally worst motivation in the game, and then she decides to take out 2 people because she's just sick and tired of one of them.
yeah.
It's so goddamn
it's
stupid.
stupid.
There's a reason why this is the worst case in the game.
Well, I just wrapped that one up. I'm now on chapter 4, and I also got the achievement for matching Hifumi's bonds, and I looked at the Steam percentage charts, and only 7% of people have that, and I thought that was funny.
Yeah, as I mentioned, any of the characters with the weird designs are easily the least liked members of their cast.
Pretty sure I could easily get all the achievements in Danganronpa 1 if I'm not lazy.
People don't really. People start up because like, hey, let's return to this, and they're like, nah, let's not. So they abandoned it quickly. Have you noticed?
Yeah. Where are those same notes? Oh, they're right there. 1.
Other side.
1.
Other side.
Other side.
Literally, you're behind you. Oh, never mind.
What the hell?
Maybe kill everybody here. We'll look around slightly better.
Alright, I'll go from the corner. And... There would be one right here, but it seems I already got it. That's it. So where's the one note?
Imagine if you had to shoot one of these doors open.
Nah, I'm looking at a fucking video because I'm desperate. And that's not the case. From what... Everyone's... And yeah, Danganronpa Chapter 1... Game 1, Trial 3 is bad. It only gets worse for Danganronpa 2, Trial 3, and Danganronpa V3, Trial 3. From what I hear. like, I see people complain about the lack of realism for the second game's trial, third trial. Oh man, look who's up there.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone dark. Before the dark times. Can't wait for Call of Duty and Contra to get a crossover after the buyout goes through. Oh my god, where's that one fucking note? It's going to drive me insane.
Imagine if it was literally under the ship.
I'll cry. Rusty Bucket Bay, also known by fans as Rusty Bucket Bay, is humanity's biggest mistake. Also, is it actually under the water?
It might be.
Ow. Well, there's someone in an underwater room. Let's see if I can sweep those. Now, some may say, why are you complaining? Some may tell me, why are you bitching about Danganronpa so much? You have a Danganronpa profile picture on Discord, so therefore you must be a major fan of the series. And to that I say, shut up. I never changed my profile picture anyway, so.
All I can say is, look, I like the franchise. I'm just willing to admit that it's fucking stupid.
Yes. As much as I like it, I'll definitely take time out of my day to talk shit about it. As every other person who likes the series does.
It's not like it matters anyways. Most Danganronpa fans are seemingly more obsessed with the fan games nowadays.
That's true. I know very little about them, except for this one hentai one I came across.
Really?
Don't look too deep into that.
Well, was it not long? Just canceled or something?
It's unfinished.
I mean, is it at least still being worked on?
I don't know. It might, but I'm not sure. But yeah, the only fan game I've played, and yes, I'm blatantly admitting this, is some hentai game.
Did it have like new characters, or was it the old ones?
Old ones. And I'm gonna drown. Oh, it wasn't here. I know a friend of mine is good at programming and is actually making a fan game of their own, so probably check that one out. Damn shark. I know a couple fan games, but not too many. It's not something I actively pay attention to. Anyways. If anyone says they like this role in the game, they're a cop. That's what I have to say.
Don't trust narcs.
What's that supposed to mean?
You know what I mean.
Narc.
Someone who, like... it doesn't matter.
Okay. Well, I remember, actually pretty recently, since the creator of Danganronpa is coming out with a new game pretty soon called Raincode.
Or as everyone likes to call it, Ghost Junko.
Yeah. That's gonna be a game. So and they Spike Chunsoft posted on their Instagram account that this current convention, or recent, I don't know if it exists or not. I don't know if it's done or not yet. Well, it's not. No, it's not here. But they were like, "Yo, the creator of the game will be right here at this convention. Tell him how much you love Danganronpa by showing up here." And the top comment was like, "I will not be telling him how much I love Danganronpa." And the other comment was like, "Okay, how many people are going to ask for a new game?"
Like I mentioned, just check underneath the boat.
Alright, I'm gonna die, but we shall see.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
And I just love a sarcastic comment saying, "Man, I love Danganronpa. I wish bears were real." Bears aren't real, by the way.
I thought that was birds.
Bears, I said.
Yeah, but I thought that was birds.
Birds.
Some people jump around saying that birds aren't real.
Do they?
Yeah, because they joke around saying that they're spy drones and stuff like that.
I know people say that about pigeons.
Yeah, it was then changed to all birds.
Speaking of birds, pretty recently...
Wasn't there like a room that you can only open by TNT?
It was this?
Have you tried checking it again?
Oh, probably should. So, like, my dad was in the living room watching the movie Full Metal Jacket. Because it was airing on some TV network. And then my sister was like, "Oh, what are you watching?" And then, "This looks boring." And then she goes to walk away. And then all of a sudden, the song Surfing Bird plays, which famously played in an episode of Family Guy. And then she stops her tracks, comes back, and looks at the TV and like, "Wait a minute." And she looked like she was having a PTSD attack.
Yeah, I can understand that as someone who was in the internet for a long while. That shit went everywhere.
Family Guy funny moments.
Not just the funny moment compilations, but in general, people love putting that everywhere because they thought it was the funniest shit in the world.
Family Guy's a comedy. It's just only supposed to make you laugh. Don't look too deep into it.
As someone who's had to deal with fucking the creators' fucking soapbox episodes, I can tell you this right now. They sometimes treat it very much like it's more than just a comedy. When they definitely should not.
Yeah. Not down there.
Cool. Imagine if it's like the one place you didn't bother checking.
I know it's not in this room, because I checked there already.
So I'm up back with the
Spinning gears.
yeah.
Yeah, the fans. I didn't. It might be in one of those containment boxes.
Heck, it might be in between because you never go in there.
In between, I checked there. That's where the last Junjo was. This one? Oh my god, it's right there. Oh right, because I died here. There we go. Finally, I can sleep peacefully tonight.
Well, I just run my fit too.
Well, let me find the exit of this level, and then we can...
On the other side.
It is on the other side. You're right. I remember someone once asked me, since I have a fucking Chiaki profile pic on Discord, and I'm never gonna change it at this point. Someone once asked me, "Hey, is Danganronpa 2 your favorite Danganronpa game?" And I'm like, actually, no, it's not.
Which one was?
Right now, it's the first one, but we'll see if my replay changes any values.
As someone who can easily say this, mine has always been the first one.
Yeah. I don't think it'll change because I just like the overall atmosphere of it more. Just the idea of, like, no sunlight, and they're all trapped in the school. And they more than definitely hooked up before the events of the game. You cannot convince me otherwise.
Literally every single one of them were friends because of Makoto. Which is better than saying every one of these fuckers, like, absolutely could not stand each other for a while. Like, it wasn't until, like, canonically, it wasn't until the new teacher showed up that they actually started hanging out with each other, remember?
Yeah.
Like, the fact that, canonically, these guys would spend essentially more than a year together and not even be friends with one another tells you more about the group cohesion with the second game than what it does with the first one. Where, canonically, Makoto shows up and immediately starts trying his hardest to befriend everyone. And by the time that everything starts going down, all of them are already friends.
Yeah. Anyway, my least favorite character in the first game is fucking Junko herself, because
she's a nothing character.
Yeah.
And she unironically steals presents from other characters.
Felt bored, might end the world one day today. IDK.
Like, literally, when I say she steals... like, we've already talked about Mukoto. But it's not just Mukoto. She also stole characterization from, What's-Her-Face in V3.
Samudi?
Yeah, but, like, by making it so that in the finale, she's basically just treated like Junko 3.0.
I made a joke to myself, like, while I was rewatching Star Wars Episode 9, I was like, yo, what if they, like, retcon this and say, like, Samudi was a fucking failed Junko clone? As Snoke was to Palpatine. That is the gateway to the final boss. I could just enter right then and there. But, nah, we have...
One more world?
One more world, which we're not doing today, because...
Obviously.
Rusty fucking Bay is a nightmare. As is.
But, like...
I'm at least gonna open the gateway to it, though.
But, yeah... Sorry, like... I don't know why, but in general, I always liked the characters in Danganronpa 1 more than 2. It might have something to do with the fact that a lot of them are a lot more realistic.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, there are some outrageous character designs in the first game, but they're treated like they look weird.
Yeah.
They're and like, some of the ones that look a bit more out there but aren't really ridiculous, like the hair dye stuff and all that.
Yeah. That
gets treated like, you know, like they're teenagers, because of course it is, right? But like at the same time, it's also at a point where, like, you can believe that a high school would allow them to look this way.
Yeah. Is this supposed to mean anything?
Like, I think the most anime-esque character in the original is Kyoko.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
Kyoko is the one that looks most like she would belong in Danganronpa 2.
Yeah.
But it's believable that she could get away looking that way, because she's literally the headmaster's daughter. Who the fuck was gonna stop her?
I don't know. Anyway, also Danganronpa 1 is Chihiro, so...
Yeah.
AKA the best boy.
A lot of the like, better people characters are in that first game. Like, canonically, the vast majority of Danganronpa 2 are kind of assholes. And
serial killers.
Then they become serial killers later on, yes.
And or dead.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
But when I said assholes, I mean quite literally, they didn't like each other and they went out of their way to basically just not interact with each other, because in general they were more up their own asses than everybody else.
That's it. My least favorite Danganronpa 2 character is...
Nagito.
Yes, actually that was a... Actually, yeah, point.
Sorry, but out of all the characters who get their head out of their asses...
And Hyoko.
As the course of this entire fucking franchise. Because, like I mentioned, a lot of the Danganronpa 2 ones start out with their head up their own asses. They're really egotistical and shit like that. But they do grow as people. Nagito, on the other hand, no.
He's gonna die at the age of 22.
Like, that guy really does take up the whole elitism of that school and brings it up to 11.
I've always joked that Nagito was gonna die at the age of 22.
He probably would. He actually has, like, a terminal disease, if I remember quickly.
Yeah, that's why. And I am turning 22 this year, so I have the entirety of 2024 to see if that will actually affect me. My favorite Danganronpa 2 character is the most generic answer out there. Take a wild fucking guess. If you haven't seen my Discord profile, I'm sure you would be able to know.
Yeah, and she's also my favorite Danganronpa 2 character. And that's because, yeah, she's easily the most likable character.
Hey, I'm a gamer girl.
I'm sorry, but, like...
They're pretty hard.
After 3, it's really hard for me to sympathize with Hajime. Because he gets basically every opportunity to not act like a total dick to Chiaki, and he squanders it at every moment.
Yeah.
Just because he's obsessed with getting talent and shit. Danganronpa 3 really actually did make me really dislike Hajime as a character.
Danganronpa 3 bad. I think it's safe to say that neither of us wish to acknowledge its existence.
Like, what Danganronpa 3 did to Mukoto, it did for me to Hajime. Why don't you just shoot them?
Yeah? Maybe not. I did not know that initially.
Why didn't you think an attack would attack?
I don't fucking know. Some enemies are just invincible.
Why would you think the one's able...
I don't know, okay. Anyway, this is the next world, which we're not doing today. Other than that, my least favorite... I guess if we're coming over to the spare girls, my least favorite character is Monica, because fuck that pickle. Nazi. I mean, if she has swastika in her eyes, you can't tell me she's not a Nazi. Oh, hello, something down here.
My least favorite Danganronpa character of all time is Junko.
My least favorite of all time is Monica, mostly because I hate children.
Sorry,
which should dispel any argument against me being...
I can't ultimately hate Monica too much, because she's one of the few characters who realizes after everything that's said and done that Junko's bullshit just ain't worth it.
I guess my most hated character being a child kind of proves that, no, I'm not a fucking pedophile, you freaks.
He just hates children.
I just hate children. I really do, genuinely. It's kind of sad.
Yeah. But like, my least favorite Ultra Despair Girls character is Monica's brother. The pedo.
Yeah, that one. I was gonna say the name, but I was like, nah.
It's easier to just call him the pedo.
Pedophilia. I remember I was playing on PC and I just...
And obviously my favorite of that character introduced in that is... well, I say introduced even though she was already introduced. Kamaru.
Yeah. Honestly, same.
Who knew the best character from that one game that stars... Like, my favorite character in the entire franchise, his sister, would be the sister of my favorite character in the entire franchise.
Alright,
as much as I joke about the whole Brocon thing, which that gets joked about too much by the game, I do like some of the characterization that they have towards them as siblings.
Yeah.
Where, like, Makoto is, like, very down on himself, thinks of himself as very plain, and, like, basically looks at his sister and her ability to, like, have already made up her mind on something, and thinks that she's so much better than him. Meanwhile, every time Makoto is even brought up by Komaru, it's blatantly obvious that she looks up to her brother.
Yeah. I don't have a brother complex. I swear.
Like it is super blatantly obvious that this is one of those cases where like the older sibling is way too hard on themselves, while the younger sibling basically worships the older one.
Yeah.
It happens often.
V3. My least favorite character is Angie. I had to think on that.
V3. My least favorite character is Tsumugi.
I'm in the camp that actually likes her.
No, my reason for hating her is just very upfront.
I know, Junko copycat.
Yeah, no, that and the entire plot twist.
That.
She's so integral to the finale of the game that her entire like existence as a character is just squandered in my eyes.
Fair.
Also, the idea that she's a cosplayer who can't cosplay as actual characters was so fucking stupid!
I mean, to be fair, people who cosplay real people are weird.
I know, but the thing is, she like the idea that someone just couldn't dress up in a certain way is so fucking ridiculous that it goes past being cartoony. It starts just coming off as kitschy, just random for the sake of quirkiness.
Yeah, I get it. My favorite V3 character is fucking dead, and that's Payday.
Honestly, yeah.
The amount of AUs I see where she survives.
Kaede is definitely one of the better characters, and if you had to put a gun to my face and ask me which one of these characters I like most, it'd probably be her. Just ignoring the fact that like I've consistently shown to like not care for that game.
What the fuck is this camera?
I'm sorry to say this, but like, yeah, no, my enjoyment of this franchise basically goes down the further along it went. Like, I really enjoyed the first game because of the atmosphere it made, and while I have my issues with the second one, I still really enjoy that game.
Ultra Disparables exists.
Yeah, that one just kind of happened. But 3 and V3 just kind of made it so I'm incapable of looking forward to a new one.
And then S happened.
And S is a blatant cash grab that was just kind of super fucking lazy.
But at least we get to see them be happy.
Yeah, I guess.
There's that. They still couldn't give Mukuro her own spice, though. Like, what the hell?
You know it's so fucking lazy. It's not just Mukuro not having Sprite. It's Chihiro not having a different Sprite. Because you do realize, like, the whole AU thing is to also set up the idea that Chihiro hadn't come out to his friends.
Yeah.
Because how do you think Junko would have known about that?
School records.
Not just that. It's kind of implied that Chihiro, around the time everything was going down, Chihiro actually did come out to his friends.
Okay, yeah.
Like, because they spent, like, several months locked behind those doors, remember?
Yeah.
So, but by the time that, like, everything went down, Chihiro was basically had already come out to his friends, and they decided to make it an AU not only to keep like Chihiro away from having to be given a new design. It's also like why they did the whole like VR thing, because they didn't want to have to like come up with an explanation as to why Mukuro doesn't have a design.
It's just fan service game. $20.
Yeah, like, they were literally just so lazy that they didn't want to have. It's also why Saionji doesn't have a new sprite either.
Yes. That was funny.
Like in general, the fact that there are characters who, by this point in the story, should have had completely different designs because Mukoto had no reason to be hiding as Junko. Saionji had already grown up, and Chihiro should have been by this point already like fully accepting of the fact that like people would accept him as a boy.
Yeah.
I mean, like they even kind of wrote themselves in the corner by having it so that it was already revealed to some of them. But only very specific people, because they didn't want to have to explain the fact that yes, Chihiro had already come out as a boy, but is still dressed like this. Because the only other way to get to deal with it is basically to just say, Chihiro's idea at the end of his story, the first game. Ignore it. Let's go with what the fan base wants.
I can see that.
So it was either buckling down to the explanation that they didn't want to have because it's not the one that they gave, or just basically putting it in a weird universe where Chihiro had gained the strength to come out to his friends, but only very specific ones, because he didn't come out to the rest of them.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
I spent 2 hours on that one world in my first playthrough.
The reason I can say it's weird is because, think about it. Chihiro gaining the strength to even come out to one of his friends was basically the motivation for him to come out to the rest of them in the original game.
That's true.
He came out to Mondo and it was like, that's it, I've gone strong enough, I'll come out to the rest of them.
Yeah.
So the fact that he'd already come out to a good chunk of them implies that this is at a point where he should have already been upfront to everybody else.
Well. No matter how stupid Danganronpa is, and no matter how much people want to die, it's not gonna die.
Seriously though, why the fuck didn't they give Mukoto a new sprite? Why the fuck didn't they give Saionji a new sprite?
Because nobody likes Saionji.
I know that they don't, but they had the audacity to just
they put everyone in a fucking swimsuit, and they were like, nah, let's not take out the leg. Well, I mean, the staff and creators have repeatedly expressed interest in coming back to the series. Basically every year. At least once a year.
Yeah, because it's a moneymaker.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't it come back?
But they have to come up with an even stupider idea than the whole TV show thing.
Oh, they will, and you damn well they will.
That or they'll just reboot it.
I actually had a dream.
But to be fair though, if they did reboot it, that'd probably be the smartest decision.
If they
just say, okay, take everything from the last few games and throw it away because we're just not touching upon it anymore.
We'll see. I actually did have a dream a couple nights ago that they announced 4 Danganronpa games at one showcase as if a way to say, there, you have something to look forward to. You fucking happy? And 3 of them were random spin-offs, and one of them was the 4th main entry. I do remember one of them being a fucking Mario Party clone, and I think that'd be funny.
That already happened. It's called S.
I know, but multiplayer-focused Mario Party clone. Anyway, we've been here enough.
We spent how many minutes just ranting about Danganronpa?
Over an hour?
Talking about after the world ended.
30 minutes.
Damn.
Well, we had things to say on it.
We'll probably continue this. Oh wait, we won't. We're gonna be watching Scott.
Yeah. Because I don't want to game anymore.
All I could say is, Makoto's best boy, and
like, comment, subscribe for more Danganronpa content.
I didn't even have to explain who my favorite character was. I've been pretty blatant about it in the last videos that I've ever taught about it.
Yeah.
But
watch our funny Danganronpa S series, because that's getting news for some reason.
We'll go back to it when we're bored.
Winter break, because it's funny to play a summer game in the winter. That's a joke. We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see whenever this game's done. Which, hopefully one or two more episodes left, so, bye?
But
Fun for us to Bucket Bay, by the way, if I haven't made that apparent enough.